everybody, and welcome to Black Ops Cold War. Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. From the year 2020, we find ourselves on the multiplayer map called the Pines, which is a fancy new mall constructed in the 80s. And we're going to be walking around the mall today and just appreciating its details, its design. We have a bank there, Bank of the Pines, and a noodle house restaurant, and a large sign for the Pines here, which tells us the time is 7:12 and the temperature is 29 degrees Fahrenheit. And being that this is a more modern Call of Duty, I thought it would be appropriate to display some of what makes the modern Call of Duties feel a little silly, perhaps. And so I have brought my anime girl gun, which I think I got from a free gift box in the game at one point. I certainly never spent any money on cosmetics for this game. And I like this fan over here, this like, I don't know, sort of Dungeons and Dragons or something fan, this metal fantasy sort of thing. Bro's out here straight pondering his orb on a Monday afternoon. Cold War was developed by Treyarch, and it was also developed by Raven Software, I believe, co-developed, and Raven would go on to develop their own Call of Duty games, I believe, though I can't remember which ones. So, stepping into the mall here, we have a Winslow's here on the left. Some variety of items on display in the window. And I guess that's a clothing store. Judging by the number of mannequins in the windows. We have a furniture store to our left, and curiously enough, a surfing themed shop here, although it's a lot of skateboards. So maybe the surfing is just sort of the store's aesthetic and not actually selling surfing equipment. I don't know exactly where this map takes place, but given the snow outside, could just be decoration, I suppose. I have played some Cold War. I played through the campaign. Also, we're walking into a Brookman's furniture store here. Their grand opening sale. Some interesting abstract art here on the wall. And little furniture display sections here. Retro living. But while I look at these displays, I'll just talk about the game a bit. In the multiplayer, I mostly played sort of party game modes, I guess. I didn't do a ton of traditional, team deathmatch and domination and stuff. I mostly played Infected with my friends, which is the game mode where one person spawns as a zombie and everybody else spawns as a human with guns. And every time the zombie kills a player, that player becomes another zombie. And so the survivors have to survive for a certain amount of time, and the infected have to take them all down. So my friends and I would play a lot of that. Mainly just like a way to reconnect with my old friends who are now scattered across the country. So it was just something to do and have fun with while we talked. And we also, I remember, played some prop hunt. Some amount of prop hunt in this. But yeah, it was not a game that I ended up sinking a ton of hours into the multiplayer. But I certainly enjoyed the time that I spent with it. Just playing, the fun game modes. We are in an arcade here, which I find very nostalgic. Even though I was not alive at this time, I did go to arcades as a child, and many of them I think were holdovers to some extent from the 80s, and they had, kind of similar vibes to this. Enduro, that's an Activision game. Foliage Fighter, another Foliage Fighter. Mutants versus Nerds. I'm not sure what that machine is. We have Kremlin's Lair here. Kremlin's Lair. Another Activision game, Chopper Command. I think these are just Easter eggs for Activision's old games, which of course is the publisher of Call of Duty, but has many old games. But yeah, Mountain Dew, that's kind of interesting. I wonder if that's a product placement deal or something. If Mountain Dew got, paid Activision to put Mountain Dew in their game. Because usually, all of the, names in these games are fake. They're made up. They don't usually use real brands, so it kind of stands out strangely that they have Mountain Dew. But the campaign for Cold War I actually kind of enjoyed. Which I say actually because I had sort of stopped enjoying the Call of Duty campaigns too much. Oh, they have Doritos here as well. Doritos and Mountain Dew. Oh, you know what? Maybe it's because I remember, I feel like Call of Duty has had a sort of perennial deal with Doritos and Mountain Dew. Where you can get like every bag of Doritos you buy, you get a code that can give you like free COD points or win you a free copy of the game or whatever. So maybe part of that deal included adding their products to the game. I like this little goblin fellow. Then we have a game table here. Oh, this is Dead Ops Arcade, which is a game mode, a top-down twin-stick shooter game mode that Treyarch has included in a number of their games. It's fun to me. It's just a fun little game. But yeah, the campaign of Cold War, it, as the name of the game suggests, the game kind of takes place during the Cold War, and you find yourself caught up in the conflict between the USA and the Soviet Union, the various machinations that emerge from that. And I don't know, I'm just gonna spoil the game, the campaign here, because I want to give my opinion on it. We have some pinball machines here first. Heavy space, space tank, cow catcher, pirate themed one, target. But the Inferno Maze, the campaign has you working with this band of like NATO special operatives or something. I don't remember the specifics super well, but basically what you find, you're working with them and fight against the Soviet Union, and what you end up discovering partway through the campaign is that your character is being brainwashed by the people that you are working with, by your Western NATO allies, team members. And then at the end of the game, when this is all discovered and there's the Soviet Union or something is going to launch a bunch of, I think you're part of this crazy faction within the Soviet Union or something like that. Anyway, was like, Call of Duty doesn't want to be controversial, and so they're like, no, it's not the Soviet Union that was gonna nuke the Western world. It was a crazy faction within the Soviet Union, which doesn't exist in reality, of course. Anyway, whatever the specifics are, you're part of this group that's going to nuke the West. And your team members are trying to stop that from happening. And so they've been brainwashing you and using you in their fight against your former allies. But then your brainwashing and conditioning kind of breaks down and you realize what's going on. And at that point, you have a choice in the game. If you want to, continue helping your teammates, that have been brainwashing you. Or if you want to, because they want to go stop the launch, so you can give them the actual location. Or you can lie to them and say, oh, it's this random place somewhere. And throw them off the trail. And I feel like the game sets up the good ending is, joining the people that brainwashed you. And obviously that's the good ending in the sense that it stops the launch of nuclear weapons, and so that's really bad. Global thermonuclear war. But in character, I was like, come on. There is no way in a million years that the character you are playing as would switch sides. They have been, a member of this faction that believes in the total destruction of the West. And then your character gets kidnapped and brainwashed and basically tortured and used like a tool. And then when you have the choice, you're like, oh yeah, actually I'm going to betray my people and help protect the West. I was just like, that makes no sense to me. So I did what I consider the canonical ending of the game, what I consider the good ending in terms of, your character. And I used a radio in the hideout to contact my Soviet comrades and organize a trap for my NATO operatives. And it leads to what's actually a really dope final mission of the campaign, where you lead them into this trap, and then you have to make your way through this battlefield and kill them all one by one. And it was kind of a crazy ending to a Call of Duty campaign. And I thought it was pretty cool. What I didn't think was cool was any of the other endings. I thought they were all pretty lame, but turning on your team that was brainwashing you and using you like a tool just felt like the appropriate ending for that story. Here we have some Nova 6 gas. Nova 6 gas. Because of course the Call of Duty campaigns cannot do anything but recycle old ideas over and over and over again. So Nova 6 has, long been a staple in Black Ops, in the Black Ops games. So of course it has to pop up again. I don't really know what the details are with some of the more recent Call of Duty games. there's something about like resurrecting these like archetypes, and they're the four archetypes, and of course they're like Woods and Mason and Reznov or whatever, like these major characters from Black Ops. Anyway, I shouldn't really speak on it because I don't know the details, but I've read the Wikipedia summary and was quite unimpressed. Anyway, here we are in a, I guess like young woman, sort of teenage girl, clothing store. It's called 1818. So, lots of fashionable outfits here. A dressing room, and then a long hallway. Hard to make out anything down there. The 80s nostalgia has certainly been a potent force recently, right? With stuff like Stranger Things and whatever. Find your wild side. Find your wild side. Some workout clothing. Clothing for working out. The nostalgia thing kind of it comes in eras, right? I'm not looking forward to 2000s nostalgia. I wouldn't mind if we just skipped that era, at least in certain respects. A lot of the pop culture and fashion, and just the pop culture energy and vibe at the time was really gross, in my opinion. And I mean kind of like literally gross, like dirty almost. Like going back and like watching reality television from the time. There's something just like greasy and grimy about everything, even just the visuals. But sorry, this is probably a little negative. I'm revealing some kind of bias I have. Why do you like that gold car? Ocean Sun. Yeah, obviously there were cool things about the 2000s, a lot of cool things. But in terms of, comparing it to like the 90s, I feel like things went downhill. Culturally, fashion-wise. But, every era has its ups and downs, and there were great things about the 2000s. It started kind of bringing us into the golden age of like television by the end of the 2000s. Wouldn't be too long before we had a lot of the classics, the modern day classics of television. But anyway, we're in the food court. Let's take a look around and see some of what we have to eat in this 80s mall. Pop Eat, a popcorn restaurant. Monster. We have ocean salt flavor. We have savory lime flavor here. Buttery trompe. Salt and spice. Nutty pop. Thai chili. feels like a pretty modern flavor for the 80s. Thai chili. Swirl and dot ice cream. Cookie box, cookie box. Cakes, cookies, and ice cream sold here. Monster Bite, double end, purple giant, sugar slide, double juice, simply brownie, almond crisp, script, almonds and chocolate dough. The cake section, we have cakes, cakes are 12, for like 25 cents, what the hell? These are all less than $1. They serve 12 people. Pinwheel spinners, power cup, sign for drop the boom. Drop the boom. Drop the boom. Double chocolate cookie. I give it 5 booms. Boom, 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 boom. Joey Jackson, Martin Klein, the Jim Thornton film. Father is dead. Alright, you already know he's gonna be the favorite character in the movie. Wall Street executive hippie dad shows up. It's a summer blockbuster for sure, but the little hippie dog, they're putting him on the ads. They know what the people want. Dragon Castle. They're showing the giant teacup. They're showing the wicker. Seems to be a horror movie. Grand opening of the Pines. Grand opening. They have a lot of cupcakes and chocolates here. Chocolate. Looks like popcorn, maybe. This is a spot in this little cubby of a store there, where you would see people fall back in Infected quite a bit when I was playing Infected more often. And what kind of fun about Infected was there were certain spots that the community sort of gravitated towards. And so every match, you would have a huge clump of people, all run to one spot in particular. And then you would sort of have the safety in numbers thing going on, where everybody would have there would usually be like a dead end, right? You'd find a little boxed off area with only one entrance or one field of view that you need to cover. And you would just have everybody working together to hold that down. But sometimes you would have sneaky players who would sort of gamble on going off by themselves, believing that they could hide, or that they would get kind of overlooked because all the infected would be going toward the one clump of enemies and then just run right past them. One of my buddies that I would play with a lot when we were playing Infected, he would always do that. He would always run off by himself at the start of the match and go find like a bush, and he would go prone, and he would call us over and be like, "Hey, can you see my legs?" And we'd be like, "No." Or we'd say, "Yes, you have to turn a little bit," and he'd turn and try to like clip as much of his body into the geometry as possible. But it worked out for him every once in a while. Oftentimes he would get caught, but sometimes he would be the last one alive, and the whole lobby would be zombies running around searching for him. And of course my buddies, we knew where he was hiding because we had helped him find the spot, so we had to give him a fair shake and not just go straight to him. But we have Burger Town guy. That's a reference to Modern Warfare. In Modern Warfare 2, there's a Burger Town franchise. I don't know if it was in the first game as well. I think it appeared for the first time in Modern Warfare 2, but anyway. side of things. Just have a little shop here with a lot of knickknacks. A lot of knickknacks that I had in my house growing up. Or that I saw in my friends' houses. Those little black light balls there, I'd definitely seen a few of those. Lava lamps, of course. I had a lava lamp. Lava lamps are sick. Honestly, I should just get a lava lamp now. You're never too old for a lava lamp. Some graphic tees here. Crazy board. That was displayed in the skateboard surf shop we were at earlier. That character, I think that's like a brand of skateboards or something. Oh, yawn. I always get sleepy when I record ASMR videos. Yeah, life is crazy right now. I'm getting kind of worked at the bone, honestly. Between work and some other stuff going on in life, and trying to get, trying to keep up a consistent schedule with YouTube videos. It's a lot. Also, my car has been in the shop for like a month now, dude. It is insanity. And I was calling I think he's the manager there at the place where I've been trying to get my car fixed up. And I've called them so many times at this point. Had so many conversations with them and with this guy in particular, and this last call that I had with him, I should be able to get the car today, I think, hopefully. But I called him yesterday and he was like, "Oh, sorry bro, your car's not ready yet." And then he just kind of launched into this whole thing about like how hard things have been going over there and like for him and the stress that he's under. And I was like, I mean, bro, like, I support you, like, I'm happy to listen, but I was not expecting a call to my mechanic to turn into like a therapy session. Anyway, we have taken a few steps to the indoors again. We are still at the Pines, but this is a mini map here called Showroom. They have a handful of very small maps in Cold War that they use for specific game modes. So we are here in one of those very little maps. And I thought that because it took place in the Pines as well, it would be appropriate to follow up the Pines map with another map in the Pines showing a separate little area. So yeah, I was happy to listen, I guess. Like, I sat there and I was doing the thing. I was like, oh damn bro, really? Like, oh shit, that sucks. Oh no, I'm sorry. What, for real? Are you kidding me? No way, bro. And just like listening to him as he was offloading all of his stuff on me, and it was, yeah, obviously, like, I feel for him if he was like going through something and like he just wanted to talk about it. That's totally cool. Like, it doesn't it doesn't like make me mad or make me uncomfortable or whatever. But was just kind of funny. It was like, so, have you fixed my car yet? Or, I'm happy to listen to this, but, also, like, when can I collect my vehicle, Anyway, just one of those little funny situations in life. So, showroom here seems, it's a furniture showroom. It has more of these little, furniture display areas, like that furniture store that we were in earlier. An elephant on the mantelpiece. But yeah, I actually remember these games, on these maps rather. The games on these maps were kind of fun as well. I said, I didn't play too much of this game, besides some of, the sort of more silly game modes or more unique concept game modes like Infected or whatever. But the ones on this style of map were pretty fun. They had like a really fast-paced one where you just had melee weapons. It was 2 teams of 3, and you just had melee weapons and had to go after each other with those, and that was pretty intense. And I remember also having like full-on gun battles in some of these with what I remember being kind of sizable teams. I remember a certain game mode we would play on these maps where it was just like insanely chaotic because of the number of players that were crammed into these tiny little maps. And yeah, so those were pretty fun. I remember this multiplayer feeling solid overall. As I said, I mostly played it just to kind of be social with my friends, and I didn't really play like the more competitive game modes or the more traditional game modes. But from what I played, I did enjoy my time with this one. But anyway, what have all of you been up to? Been playing any new games recently? Have you been playing Silk Song, Hollow Knight Silk Song? I'm working my way through that by the time this video comes out. Hopefully I'll have had time to play some more of it. I don't know. Oh, this is like kind of an iconic little image here, I think. I've like seen this before, that like virtual sunrise on the purple landscape. I don't know what the origin of that image is, but I feel like I've seen that in like synthwave, vaporwave sort of YouTube music compilation things. Which, now that that topic has sprung to my mind, I love YouTube playlist channels, YouTube music channels that are just like creating playlists with certain vibes. And I use them for my work a lot. When I just need to lock in, I really love, some channels that I just find their mixes are just very helpful for me focusing, and I'm not getting distracted and just kind of getting into that flow state. But unfortunately, there are so many AI channels now that do that, and it's hard to tell because you see some fun thumbnail and title, and you think, oh, that'll be a good playlist, and then you click on it, and there's no artist listed, and then you go and you look at their channel, and they have been putting out like 2-hour mixes every 3 days for 2 months. You're like, okay, yeah, this is not real. You are just AI generating. Like, please give me 32-minute songs, in the theme of space jazz or whatever, and then AI generate me an alien mixing a Manhattan or whatever. Not to get into the whole AI topic, but that's suffice it to say that I would rather listen to human music. So, at this point, it's pretty easy, honestly, now, unless they start getting tricky, and like generating fake artists or something. I just look in the credits and make sure that all of the songs are credited to like an actual artist or band, and then that's sort of the trick. That's good enough. Like this plane suspended in the pines. It's a pretty fancy mall here. Not quite a Mall of America, which I've never been to, but I've heard is pretty insane, right? It has like a little theme park in it, right? So that's a testament to how massive it has to be. Like this little area here, you can go up the escalator and then hop over the center railing. You can't go up any higher, both sides are blocked, but you can cut through the middle this way and come down the other side. Just a fun little traversal option that they put in. So we have some washing machines here. Some washing machines. Our dryer in our apartment broke down recently, and all it needed was a new belt, which, I could have easily replaced. Maybe there was another problem with it, I don't know, but my diagnosis of it just seemed like, because the belt had frayed too much and just wasn't working anymore. But I talked to our landlord, or rather their son, who came over and checked it out, and I was like, hey, I can just fix this, and he was like, no, don't do that, because if you fix it and it still doesn't work, or like it breaks later on, you will be liable for the machine. And I was like, that is insane. And so what they did was they just replaced it. They just bought a whole new dryer. And that's really the insane part, is like, a belt costs, I don't know, $5, maybe $10. And it's like a 5-minute job. And instead of repairing it, you just, I don't know, maybe they send it off somewhere to some business that just takes old appliances and sees if they can fix them up and then resells them. I hope something like that happened and that it didn't just get trashed. But I was like, man, that's crazy. You're not even going to try to fix it yourselves. And I mean, listen, I'm happy to have a new dryer. It's a lot nicer than the dryer we had before, but, it's just one of those weird things of the modern world where it's like, so wait, I can't fix this because I'm going to be financially liable for it at that point. And you're not going to fix it. You're just going to get rid of it and buy a new one. Yeah. Strange times. The lack of ability to repair your own stuff, right? Sort of goes beyond this specific situation. You get into like right to repair and all that stuff. But follow Lewis Rossman on YouTube, by the way. If you're interested in that stuff and fighting back against corporate malfeasance and fighting for ownership rights and all that sort of stuff. He's a pretty dope dude who's making a real difference in that arena, which is sadly too often under-discussed. And Veritasium just did a video on like seed ownership laws, and I haven't watched the video. I've just seen the like title card. But so I think what it's about is like, farmers getting screwed by Monsanto and stuff, which I happen to know a bit about because my dad has been a farmer for my whole life. It's not his primary job. We didn't live on like a livelihood farm. But he grew crops and has his own business where that came from that. He's been doing it for my whole life, and so I've just heard a lot from him about Monsanto and the ownership of specific seeds, and how you can't plant, like if you get some specific genetically modified corn or something from Monsanto, you cannot plant the seeds from that corn again. You have to buy more seeds from them. It's insane. There are, I don't know, just, there's so many things wrong with the world. Sorry. Anyway, let's move on from depressing topics. Cold War is Black Ops 5. I've done a Black Ops 3 video, 2 and 1. I haven't done 4 yet, and I haven't done 6, which is very new. I think that's the one that just came out. But anyway, let's move on to another map here, and move on from the Pines entirely. And in fact, let's go up to the other side of the Cold War. Welcome to the Soviet Union. This map is called KGB. We find ourselves in the Lubyanka building, which is the headquarters for the KGB, and was in real life, and is now the headquarters for the successor intelligence agency to the KGB, which is called the FSB. And something funny that I saw was that there was a joke in the Soviet Union about how the Lubyanka building was the highest point in Moscow. If it isn't, I don't remember exactly. St. Petersburg. I don't know where the building is, but let's just say Moscow. The joke is that the Lubyanka building is the highest point in Moscow. You can see Siberia from it. And the joke is because, as like an extension of the Gulag system, basically, the prisoners, there were prisoners kept in the Lubyanka building. And so, I think I messed up the joke. I think it was like, you can see Siberia from its basement. I'm sorry, I totally botched this. The Lubyanka building is the highest point in Moscow. You can even see Siberia from its basement. I think that's how it's supposed to go. And anyway, it's because the idea was that, prisoners, you have the gulags in Siberia with enemies of the state and stuff, prisoners in there. And the Lubyanka building, and keeping prisoners that were maybe bound for those gulags in the basement. Anyway, that was a A+ joke telling from me. I'm a regular Bill Burr. But anyway, I really like this map. I just love the design of the Lubyanka building here. The marble everywhere, the green marble, the tall bookshelves. I love this little coffee machine. This is another one of those small maps. I figured with how long the Pines took to record, I could do, I could have just done like one more big map. But I thought, well, Cold War has these little maps, so it might be fun to just do a couple of those instead of just doing like 2 maps for the whole video. We have some drawings of people to look out for there. Wanted individuals or something. A lot of desk space here for office workers, I suppose. Feels a little too open here. I would not like if that were my desk. You just have people walking around you all the time. We have a statue of V.I. Lenin here. Sorry, I was listening to my stomach make weird noises. I don't know if that got picked up or not. It sounded like it was trying to talk to me. Like it was trying to communicate. My stomach has become sentient. Every gurgle is an attempt at communication. Anyway, so we have these little side hallways here. Yeah, one half of the map has these little walled-off hallways, and then the other half of the map has the staircase leading up to a second floor, which is where we started. And then down this hallway, some more computers, calendar on the wall there, fruit art, and a very nice painting on the wall here, another coffee machine, a dark room with lots of computers inside, with times for major cities around the world. an interesting alphabet to read as an English speaker, because there are certain characters in it that you recognize or seem very similar, but then there's a lot of it that is completely alien to you, so you sort of feel like, wait, can I kind of read that word? I mean, it's like when you, like when somebody writes down a sentence using only the consonants, or when someone when you write a sentence and you have the first and last letter of every word remain the same, but then you scramble the letters within each word. That's how it feels like reading Russian sometimes. It's like, my eyes almost feel like they're trying to parse this text, but can't actually really get it. Well, anyway, thank you for joining me on our trip to Black Ops Cold War today. I hope that you enjoyed our little trip through 80s nostalgia at the Pines Mall. And I will see you next time. Until then, please take care of yourselves, and I will do the same. Goodbye.